Welcome back, Bravehearts, to today's New World Health Live Q&A. I am Sharon, one of your co-hosts, and I'm here with lovely Sandra, and we're here to bring you the live Q&A. Daryl is not available today, and so we are the choice.
Very happy to do our best to step in and help bring you into the Detox world and answer any questions you've got.
Yes, absolutely. And today's show, we're going to go over a few of the products from the docofdetox.com's product line. And the reason that we're doing this is not because we're trying to sell products, is that what's happening in the world is that our food has become so depleted because it's been genetically modified. There's so many toxins in our soil. It doesn't have humic acid anymore. And there's just such a depletion going on. So that depletion, not only from a nutritional standpoint, but from a vibrational standpoint, that depletion is affecting us. And so the fact is that we are electromagnetic energy light beings. And it's all about the vibration. We want to bring up our vibration. And in order to bring up our vibration, we would need to eat the foods that are really high vibrational foods. Now, of course, if you're not eating cooked foods and you're eating more fresh and raw foods, those are vibrationally higher quality foods. But still, the raw foods that are being grown in the depleted soils and all the poisonous environment that is being infiltrated within our world right now and within our farmers and our community is that it doesn't have the vibration that what it used to have 100 years ago. And that is why Daryl has brought on these wonderful high vibrational supplements, which is nutraceuticals. It's all about the frequency. Therefore, we need to help encourage the body to bring up the vibration so that then the vibration is what is going to heal us. And all of these products that he has within the Doc of Detox store and the product line is high vibrational. Isn't that correct, Sandra?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we can bring that body back into alignment, it can take care of whatever got out of alignment. And these all help support our bodies do that.
Yes, and we encourage you to ask as many questions as you possibly can, and we'll do our best to answer them. And we're here operating as high vibrational beings. And it's wonderful when we can remove those blockages, and that's what so many of the nutraceuticals within the product lineup do. Is that they help, not only are we helping to remove the blockages emotionally through the Perfect Day strategy and the protocols associated with that, and the Whole Life Coach course, is that we're also moving the blockages by bringing up the vibration and by introducing these very high level nutraceuticals. So what would we like to start with today? I mean, it all comes down to the large intestine, which is the Holy Grail. Mm-hmm. And the large intestine is our second brain, which is obviously located in our abdomen. But we have created so many blockages emotionally, physically, and nutritionally that the Holy Grail, which is our large intestine, which is our colon, which is 6 to 8 feet in length, has been completely abused. Abused by the pharmaceutical industry, by being inundated with antibiotics, which creates pitting all along that large intestinal wall. And that large intestinal wall, by these little drill bit predators that are created, it creates these little pits, and that creates inflammation, and then that creates scar tissue. So the large intestine, which is our colon, it does haustral churning. It has a peristalsis movement, which actually moves and it churns and it creates the fecal matter, basically our poop. And if that is not churning properly, then it's not forming the fecal that we need to have it. So then our computer program is not operating properly. And so that is why monitoring what comes out of us is so important. Mm-hmm. Because we tend to monitor, well, we don't even tend to do that, but we tend to be all over what goes in us, but we're not that concerned about what comes out. And really, what ends up coming out of what only is supposed to be left in us, or is what is left in us, is because we are vibrational beings, is the vibration of the nutrition that we are consuming. Mm-hmm.
So I was just envisioning that as you spoke. So those individual hostras are supposed to individually do their job, like you said, help form that stool, help move it along. And as if those hostras can't do their job, then you've literally got logs stuck in the river.
Exactly.
Right.
And you have a compost pile.
Right. Add on to that we don't drink enough water, right? So picture a river with logs in it, large intestine, stool that can't move, and not enough water. You're going to putrefy just because it's sitting around.
Yep,
right? It's being
that's
in
right.
the system for too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when you get, waterlog, and you get things sinking to the bottom of the river because they get so waterlogged. And that's why when we look in the toilet and we see a sinking poop, that's been in that river for a long time.
Yeah.
And it is logged down, it is bogged down, and so that's why it goes in and it sinks. It's not floating because it's not full of life energy, and it doesn't have oxygen and all of the wonderful things in it. That when it's flowing properly, that then it moves through from the hostile churning, because that's then putting oxygen and it's putting vibrancy within it, even though it's something that the body's trying to get out. And a lot of us don't even realize that the large intestine is a muscle. And so when that muscle loses its tone, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And go on.
And how does that just compact? No, that's not the right word. But anyways,
Compost.
magnify
Yeah.
the problem, right? So you've already got your hostras are having trouble working, so it gets stressed out, goes down, it'll go below the belly button. Then think how hard your body has to work to get it up over that hump, and then get stuck, and now the body's got to force it back up. Well, part of the reason why this happened is because of the lack of tone. So as soon as we start developing this little paunch down here, we should have been realizing something was going on.
Yeah.
But it's on the inside, and we tend to be a society of people that doesn't want to go inside. So we're not even going to listen to our body trying to talk to us about, hey, I'm struggling down here. I'm your large intestine. Hello, I'm pretty important. We don't even hear those messages.
And that's when we turn to, the women do often, is we turn to the plastic surgeon world, because we lose weight, or we try to lose weight, and then we have this bulge that's sitting down here, and basically that's the transverse colon, because the small intestine is probably like 20 feet long or so, or 22 feet long. And so it's throwing the liquid that has been digested by the stomach, hopefully. And for the most part, we're not even digesting properly, because we are chewing when we're really stressed out, and we've got to, something else to do, because we're a human doing, not a human being. And so our stomach doesn't have a second set of teeth that can start to, break down the foods within the saliva, because that's our first stage of digestion. And then, so ideally, it's supposed to be a liquid when it's coming through the small intestine, and then it comes into the large intestine, and that's where the moisture is then pulled out, and that's what the hostile churning does. And so it churns that, and so it has to come from the small intestine into the ileocecal valve, which then goes into the cecum, comes up the ascending colon, comes over the transverse colon, because it has to come around the hepatic flexure, and so it comes around the hepatic flexure, which has got to make like a nice little bend. So hopefully the bend isn't that much of a bend, because the transverse colon is here, and then it's got to go over the splenic flexure down into the descending colon, and then out through the rectum. And what Sandra was talking about is that you have this little bulge down here, because of the fact that there's so much compaction within the large intestine, because the poop's not coming out. And so you have a compost pile. So that compaction, because of the type of foods that we're eating, the thoughts that we have, the stinking thinking, the stinking foods, the stinking lifestyle. And then we have antibiotics put on top of that. And if we've had surgeries, that creates blockages, et cetera, et cetera. And so then that transverse colon becomes compacted. And of course, it's going to be weighed down. And so it's going to drop, and you're going to end up having a prolapse. And that prolapse can be first degree, it can be second degree, and it can be third degree, where it's lying right on top of your bladder. Then you're waking up in the middle of the night and you have to urinate numerous times. And you're like, I just don't seem to feel like I'm getting everything out.
Yeah.
And the reason you're not getting everything out is because your transverse colon, which is compacted, is sitting on top of your bladder. Yeah.
So we're getting different messages then, right? Because we've got that down there. It's putting pressure on the bladder, and it's also leaking out everything that is sitting there. It is going through those. The lining of the large intestine is just 1 cell thick. So you putrefy that for so long, those 1 cell thicks are going to get stretched out on us, and so then you're going to just be putrefying.
Yep. Absolutely. And then you end up with something called a fishhook stomach, and maybe another time we'll look at the actual diagrams because we're not set up today, but the stomach then drops and all the hydrochloric acid pools to the bottom of the stomach itself, and then your stomach's trying to churn the hydrochloric acid, which helps to break down the foods, and it's not able to do that, and then we end up with gas and bloating and hiatal hernias, and it's just the domino effect. So it's all affected, and that's why the large intestine is the holy grail, because it is the center of our health. And not only does it churn and get rid of the compost out of our body, but it also holds the friendly bacteria and the unfriendly. And so that's why it's our second brain, because there's over 50 trillion cells in our body, but there's over 500 trillion bacteria. And that's why the antibacterial soaps and things, it's killing our friendly bacteria. And, it's quite a joke as far as using an antibacterial soap for a so-called V that doesn't exist. So anyways, that's another story. And what ends up going on with that compost pile within the large intestine is that then it has putrefaction. It has a gas off. And that gas off breaks down the thin cell membrane of the wall of the large intestine. And the large intestine cell membrane, which is only 1 cell membrane thick, has something called tight junctions. And those tight junctions start to loosen and they start to open up. And so all that putrefaction, infection, bacteria, fungus, it now spills into the pelvic bowl and gets drawn up by the blood system. So now the blood is infected, you have inflammation from infection that is now being absorbed by all the different organs in that surrounding area. So if you're a man, it's your prostate, you've got the stomach fascia, and so you can end up with hernias because the fact that that fascia is being broken down and the integrity of the tissue is being compromised, and so then now the intestine pokes through the wall, or you end up with kidney stones, and then when you add all of the components associated with the emotional components, then you just have the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the domino effect of not knowing how to take care of our own bodies. So that was excellent. I really liked your explanation.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the positive,
Yes.
where we can start. So
Absolutely.
the story for Detox starts with our daily cleansing tea. It's going to we're not
read.
going to move that.
Here,
It's going to
I've
follow.
got mine.
Oh, you've got a pointer.
I've got a pointer
How wonderful.
right here. The daily cleansing tea, which is right here.
Yes.
And it comes in various sizes. Yes. Go ahead, Sandra.
So yeah, no, I think the structured water and the daily cleansing tea is such a fabulous place to start, and where everyone should be starting, because just like we were talking about this morning, and you mentioned just when you first started, we are electromagnetic beings.
Yep.
And so we need to put things in with proper vibration. And starting with a good amount of structured water that's warm to almost hot in the morning, not so hot that you have to sip it like tea, but as hot as you can and still drink it down like a glass of water.
Yeah.
Being in that structured format, it's instant hydration for your body. Think of things on a molecular level. Everything is very small, and those H2Os need to be in a nice, tidy little choo-choo train to be instantly absorbed. And so this is what the structured water unit does for us. It mimics nature, and it gets it into that structured format. Otherwise, your body has to expend energy to just simply digest and absorb water. So we don't want to be doing that.
Something else to add to that
for
is
it.
that the structured water, we have it available in 3 types of options as far as the home use goes and personal use, travel use. This is the portable unit. And all you do is just pour the water through here, and it positively ionizes it. It's like the water that's falling from the sky, because the raindrops end up creating a positive ionization, as well as what's coming down the brooks, and it's going over all the little pebbles that are coming down, so it's positively ionizing it. So it's changing the frequency of the water, which is what Sandra was talking about, because we are electromagnetic energy light beings. And so it comes in the portable unit. It also comes in a shower unit, because when we change the frequency of the water, then what we're doing is we're removing, when we're structuring it, we're removing the memory. So any ill effects that are in that water, like chloride, bromide, fluoride, and the water goes from, what is it, like 17 toilets before it comes back through the water system. And so all the antibiotics, all the hormones, all of those chemicals that are being urinated into your toilet, I hate to break it to you, but that's the fact, is now then coming back through the water filtration system that you have in your city or town or whatever it happens to be, and it's now coming back through your pipe, but they're not removing all of that. And so what the structuring does is it now, because water holds frequency, and we know that because we know that we don't want to get into a bathtub and start blow drying our hair, because as soon as we would do anything in the bathtub, then we're going to be a goner, because it's going to carry the frequency of the electricity and it's going to stop your heart. So we know that. So now we just want to start the heart by giving it such a heart smart structuring, as far as positively ionizing and removing this any memory of the water itself. And so that then removes any of the ill effects from the water. It doesn't filter it, but it changes the frequency. And when we can start rethinking what we've been inundated with, because we've been inundated with the fact that the Western world and the programming is all about the fact that we're material beings, but every cell is 85% water. So empty space, actually. And so that vibration ends up creating what it is as far as the good vibrations within ourselves. And so there's the option for the structure, the shower unit that you can easily install in your shower, and therefore you can run the water through that and you can fill up your bathtub. Now you're showering in structured water. Or you can actually get a house unit, and there's two different options, for under 2,500 square feet or for over 2,500 square feet. And so then now you can structure the entire house. And from what I understand, I didn't try that when I had my structured unit in Canada, but you don't even need to use laundry soap when you're structuring the water. And so that then allows you to water your plants, and if you have a garden, everything is all structured. And you can even take a bucket of water, structured water, and throw it into a pool, or throw it into your bathtub. Even if you've just filled up a few glasses of structured water with your portable unit, then you can actually have a structured bath. It's just like when you have a nice calm piece of water, like a pond, and you throw a pebble in it. And that pebble, those ripples go for infinity, because it's changed the frequency of the water by just throwing that pebble in there.
So then if you put even just like a bit of structured water in, you're saying it's going to affect the whole amount of water.
Absolutely.
Neat.
Yeah.
I like the way you explain things.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate that. Yeah, so it just creates a ripple effect. So the ripple effect that we want is the ripple effect of high vibration. And I'd like to also mention is that the structuring also reduces the surface tension by 1,000%. So our cells, for the most part, are dealing with inflammation because our large intestine isn't functioning properly, and it's spewing all this putrefaction and all this infection. And so the body then needs to protect itself. So every one of our over 50 trillion cells has a little memory, it has a little brain, it has a little nervous system, it has a little skeleton. And so it's going, oh my gosh, what's going on out there? Because I have all this inflammation, I have all this infection in the blood. And so I need to protect myself. So I'm going to create a nice little coating around my cell to protect myself from the terrorism of what's going on inside my body. And then that cell even becomes less permeable to water. And so reducing the surface tension by 1,000%, then now the water can penetrate and hydrate those cells, bring down the inflammation, which is inflamed, which is on fire, and now bring down the inflammation, so then now we can have less pain, we can now reduce that fire, reduce the acidity in the body. And so it really, one of the mainstay products in our product line is the structured water. Absolutely, hands down. And it's the amount that you need to drink too. Somebody was asking a question about their animals, and
yeah, I wrote down those
did you write
notes
down?
because
Yeah.
I noticed, unless you can bring the screen
Yeah,
down a bit.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure
she's
if I
like,
can.
"And what can I use on my cat?" Is what she said.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, Linda.
Can you maybe move it slightly over, because we're missing some of the
Oh,
words
okay.
as well.
Let's see if I can.
If you can, there you go. That might work. Yep. Okay. Which one of your products can I use on my cats? You're good to use all of them. Any dosage on the parcels are for a 150-pound adult. So simply take the pounds of your pet, your child, your senior citizen, divide it by 150, and that's the amount of the adult dosage that you need to give. So obviously for a cat, it's going to be a teeny tiny amount of everything, but definitely feel good about that. I'm using the Black Diamond Iodide C60, but I want to know if I can use some of the Cenonian minerals for maybe just at the very top. Put the mouse at the very top of that screen and pull. There
we
go.
go.
That's what we
Okay.
need to do.
I've got
four
it.
minerals. Absolutely. The Cenonian minerals is a multi-mineral, multivitamin, phytonutrients. Dr. Gerald Wolf has got it with many different wonderful things in the Cenonian minerals. So yes.
Yeah, and you can actually use the black gold too as well, because the black diamond will work at the cellular level, and then the black gold will work in the intestinal level, so it will help proliferate friendly bacteria formation, and it will also help the unfriendly to jump on and kind of piggyback its way out of the colon. So it's kind of a switcheroo game here with the black gold, which is another good lead in as far as the black gold goes, because the black gold is humic acid, and the black gold that we have comes from a tertiary lake bed in Alberta, Canada. And it's what the dinosaurs fed on like millions and millions of years ago. That's what a tertiary number is. It's millions of years old. And so it's all the plant life and skeletons and lignans of the plants that the dinosaurs fed on millions of years ago. And that has now created this black gold, this lake bed, which is kind of the overburden of carbon. So it's not carbon, but it's like a gritty. And it is so full of nutrients. And that's what our soil is depleted of, is of humic acid, because of all the chemicals and spraying and just the inundation of what's gone on in our farming community. And that is why we need these nutraceuticals. And so the black gold can be just put into the food for the cat, and also, of course, ourselves. And that will help increase our nutrition, but it will also help within the intestinal tract too as well. So it's a really wonderful product, and it's been tested for heavy metals, and it's the only black gold, the only humic acid that doesn't have heavy metals in it in the world thus far, unless somebody else has come up with something else and found some other. But as far as we know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I believe that there was Kelly ended up asking a question. I was once told drinking hot water causes cancer. What is in the water that's different to normal water? If it's boiled, does that take all the good stuff out? Not saying I believe, just asking a question. It's a great question, Kelly. So when you've changed the frequency of the water, boiling the water doesn't change the frequency. So it still holds the frequency. And actually there's a study, I believe, that's gone on, and they've put the structured water into a bathtub, and I believe it's been sitting there for 20 years, and it hasn't changed the structuring of it. And so it doesn't dissipate. And it's actually, you can actually look this up, and it's fourth phase water. So it's like there's water in gas form, and there's water in solid form and liquid form, and the fourth phase water is what structured water is. And that will actually, when you put it into a petri dish and you freeze it, it actually has a beautiful Fibonacci design to it. It's a crystal, and it's really absolutely amazing, versus just unstructured water. When you put into a petri dish and you freeze it, it doesn't have that beautiful pattern to it.
Yeah, they're simply referring to the fact that water out of a tap is all clumped up. structured water or water, rainwater or water through a stream on a molecular level looks like a sheet of paper or even smaller in a little choo-choo frame. So that's simply what they're trying to say with the fourth phase. It physically, the molecules are lined up in a different fashion, and so that's why it becomes instantly absorbable.
Yes.
Yeah, hot water causing cancer. I have no idea what that would mean, because that's just not logical at all. For cancer to start growing, we have to have a lack of oxygen in an area. So hot water causing cancer, I know that hot water is wonderful for your body, right? We don't wash our dishes or our clothes normally in anything but warm water, because it loosens things up. It brings in lots more water on top of it. And so, yeah, I think that's just a little bit illogical. So sometimes when we come across information that's illogical, we don't necessarily have to investigate it and go for it. Maybe we just stick with logic and know that
Well, and
temperature
cancer
of
really
water.
is just inflammation that's gone wild.
Yeah.
And when you're when you're inflamed, well,
Yeah.
then that means that you have a lot of inflammation
Right.
and you have a lot of fire
Yeah.
within the body. And so
Yeah.
you want to drink water. And the reason that we suggest hot structured water is that we want to scrub the body
Yeah.
of the toxins.
Yeah.
And so when you have inflammation, then you have toxins. And those, when it becomes a cyst, first of all, because the infection then is walled off. All of this infection that's spewing from the large intestine, which is infecting the blood and therefore finding areas to store itself. And the only reason that we produce fat is to store the toxins. And then when the body can't produce fat fast enough, then it finds other areas of the body to store the toxins. And then of course you have the emotional components. So when you have emotions that are associated with I got the weight of the world on the shoulder, I can't step forward, it's your foot, whatever it is. You've got loss of materialism things, you've got the spine, and you have the shoulder where you've got a frozen shoulder, you can't move forward because you're paralyzed in fear, whatever it happens to be. So each body part has an emotional component. And so when there's so much infection in the body, therefore you have that produces inflammation, because the body's trying to buffer down that infection. That inflammation is acidic, and then the body needs to pull calcium from the bones to buffer down the acidity. Since we need to be at a slightly alkaline level on the pH chart, our body doesn't do well in an acidic environment. And what we need to do then is we need to go in there and buffer down the inflammation so we can buffer down the acidity. And we've had people that are very toxic, their bodies are very toxic, and when they start drinking hot water, they start feeling sick to their stomach, because the body is actually pushing the acidity out and it's actually upsetting the stomach. And so then we kind of say, okay, well then just drink warm water, just slightly off of room temperature, so it's not pushing the acidity out into the bloodstream and therefore creating like the issues associated with the stomach. And so really any cancer is just inflammation gone wild. And the body is actually a gift for the body, because it's telling the person that they need to slow down, they need to realign themselves, the body's out of alignment, and we need to realign ourselves so that then we can get back into a healthy, vigorous state.
So hot water is exactly what we need to bring down that inflammation, to help warm those tissues up and help it to release and let go of all those things that are causing the inflammation. So it's exactly what we do need. Let's see. Caffeine, yeah, that's just gonna, you're just drinking liquid acidity. So go for it if you'd like, I suppose. Definitely do it with structured water. Definitely throw some black gold in there to reduce that. But I remember Dr. Darrell Wolfe talking about caffeine being such a heavy hit on the body. It's pretty much exactly like taking a shot of vodka. It's creating such a strong reaction. So the less we can do of that, the better. And if you've got some serious situations going on, maybe you better try to not do that at all. Does a structure unit get rid of the E. coli from wells supplied by rivers? So like Sharon was saying, it's going to nullify any of those frequencies. And so it's physically, you might still see the E. coli there, but the frequency of the E. coli will be taken care of by the structured water.
And it's all about the frequency that you're resonating at. And so if you're also resonating at a low frequency, well, then you'll attract low frequency. So whether you get it from the river or you get it from other areas, then you will get it, because that's really what the whole plan is, as far as bringing up your vibration. And then when we bring up our vibration, then we can push the frequency to reach our goals. And it's about the focus. And so as I move forward, is I want to keep increasing my frequency, because then I'm increasing the potentiality of having my goals being met. And it's amazing. And then when you get kind of knocked down at your knees, you only knock yourself down, because nobody can actually knock you down. You knock yourself down because you're not ready to handle the frequency. And believe me, I know that. I know. I know that from a personal experience, so a few of them. So when as you move forward, and so Kelly mentioned, so ice from the North Pole is the best. Well, yeah. And the thing is that you can have a bottle of structured water, and you can drink all the structured water and leave just an inch or two of the water in the bottom of the bottle, and then you can add other water to it, and it will structure it. And so so ice cubes from the North Pole. It will structure the water.
Neat. I see Robin Sunick was helping to answer a few questions there. Hello, Robin. Thanks for being out there. Her and her partner John are in Valley View, Alberta, and they are running a full-time Wolf Non-Surgical Clinic, and the name of their business is Frequent Vitality. So hello to Robin and John.
Hello, Robin and John.
View. Yeah. Happy to have you out there and with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see your feedback, Robin, and we appreciate it totally.
Yes.
And Linda, my other question is in regards to the energy devices. Is the sentient element better in treating Lyme disease instead of the celsonic?
Why not do both? I mean, they're going to each do their own job. The sentient element is going to deliver in frequencies, and the celsonic is going to deliver in those 25,000 volts and help to stop that diseased spin. Thank you. Sorry. Stop that spin, and as long as then we do some Wolf Non-Surgical to make sure there's lots of good flow, and so then once we've got that good flow, celsonic goes in, does its job, and then the body is able just to go, hey, wait a minute, the spin should actually be this healthy spin. And so it can stop disease right in its tracks.
Well, in Lyme disease, it's been one of those catch-alls, just like fibromyalgia. And is it from a tick? Or I mean, it's just this the body just saying that it's out of alignment, so it's dis-ease. So is it a disease? I don't think it's ever been put into a petri dish and being looked at as far as something that's alive, that's wiggling around. Because it's disease of the body, so the body's out of alignment.
You've probably maybe been a terrorist of your own for a long time, and you've maybe got several systems that are really struggling, and so this is, like Sharon said, this is sometimes the tag-all name that they like to throw on things when there's several of your systems going on. So, just spend some time in the mirror, get back on your own team, and get back into the spot of saying, hey, I can do all these wonderful things for myself. I can change my diet. I can start drinking more water. I can start just loving myself, and feed your body with all these base nutrients in the humic and the fulvic and in the line of products, the tea, the water. Just watch your body turn around.
And the thing is, Linda, is that we can focus on the disease titles, the dis-ease titles, because it's just the body being in dis-ease. And we can become that, or we can decide to become the owner of our love and the owner of an unconditional love for self, and create that empowerment and say, okay, I've got this thing, whatever it happens to be, that's saying, hello, wake up. And here I need to wake up, but I need to wake up to self-love. And that's the two choices. We can focus on the suffering associated with the labels, or we can decide to move over here, which is what Sandra was talking about, and focus on this present moment and realigning ourselves in self-love. And that's what the mirror work, and that's how we connect, because we become so disconnected. And then we have the world out there that's disconnecting us even more, because they're creating all these labels, and then we own them, but they're not us. They're not us at all. What we are is electromagnetic energy light beings. We're full of vibration, we're full of frequency. And so the emotional creates the physical, and the biological, or the psychological creates the biological. So then that, if we start looking at things from that perspective, then the disease symptoms of the so-called Lyme disease came along with other emotional components. And so then that was just the final. And when we were talking about the sentient element and the cell sonic is the most powerful energy medicine piece of equipment in the world. And that will create little microfractures, and it'll put 25,000 volts of love harmonic, little pulses that will open things up and actually revibrate. It will actually, the mitochondria will go into the mitochondria and restore the spin of the mitochondria. So then now, if you bring in the sentient element, now you're bringing in all these beautiful frequencies that can actually have the mitochondria spin to that beautiful frequency. Bam.
Yeah.
Out of the park.
Out
right?
of the park. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. And it's so exciting. Like, I'm just so excited.
To have so many tools in the tool chest, it is very exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And you know, I just had like some beautiful experiences here in the last few weeks with people coming down and having some really profound, you know, where I had done a perfect day consult on one of them, not the other one you had, on the other lady that came down, and then did some Wolf non-surgical. And these people went away with a new lease on life. And one woman was 84 years old. And she has embraced all of these protocols, came down here with their son, ended up getting like 5 or 6, had an emotional release on her very last treatment, went away, that she was holding on to this emotion that she didn't even know she was even holding on to until we had a discussion as to what it was. And it was like she got off that bed and she just had a spring in her step, and it was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing what we're doing here. And this is about turning around your life.
84 years old. Let's sit in on that one. 84 years old, right?
84.
Self-love can do a lot, no matter what your age is. So let's shake off that, and let's just shake off the thoughts that say, I'm a failure, I can't. We need to stop those thoughts in their tracks and just focus on something positive. And yeah.
And thank you, Kelly. I appreciate the comment in regards to the agreeing with the inflammation. So hot water can affect some. It's an individual thing. That's what I like about you guys. You guys don't put everyone in the same book like some doctors do. No, we that's what the perfect day strategy is about. That we get to have a very inclusive intake form. It's very thorough, and it goes through so many aspects of a person's life and what they're, you know, what's happened in their past, emotionally, physically, and then we look at that, and then we have an opportunity to meet that person and really dive into what's going on for them, and it's really wonderful. Friend Inga said, a friend of mine tried vomiting 2 times in a row. Could it be a side effect? She got extreme pains for 2 to 3 days, very weak, no fever, a slight cold, seemed like flu symptoms. Are there other symptoms one could expect? Thank you, ladies.
To me, it just sounds like there's a lot going on for her. So when she tried doing the, I'm not sure if she probably meant it to do it in a therapeutic vomiting fashion. I think this just sounds like she had a lot going on. So when she did the vomiting and she helped release some of that mucus that's in the stomach, and she was throwing things up, it maybe set off just a cascade of effects. So maybe she had quite a bit of infection going on in her body, and sure, you can feel like you've got some flu-like symptoms when we get things stirred up, and other organs aren't able to handle it. So maybe a gentler fashion would be starting with the daily cleansing tea, start with the structured water, get things moving, and just start things in a gentle way. What would you say?
Well, you know, and it's a really good question, because what happens, any of these, like a fever, is the body trying to burn something up.
Right.
And that's what ends up happening to a woman when they go through menopause. That's why they have these little mini fevers, because they're no longer getting rid of the toxins that they used to from a monthly cycle. And the very similar thing can happen, because when we think of the stomach, and we think of the fact that we have all these sayings, you make me sick to my stomach, I feel sick, you make me ill, I feel, and something will happen, and it'll affect your stomach where you can't eat for days because of some emotional component. Well, those layers of all that emotion, and if you have trauma and drama in your life, it gets really buried deep down inside. And I know very well in regards to it, because I've done therapeutic vomiting, and so these symptoms, these side effects, are just a cleansing effect. And so these toxins, this acidity has come out, but the acidity of the emotions more than the acidity of the physical. And so the chills are an emotional spin-off. After I did my therapeutic vomiting, I know there was so much mucus that came out of my, and it's not puking, and it's not trying to throw up. It's therapeutic vomiting. And afterwards, I was very chilled, and I needed to have a hot shower, because that emotional release will create chills. And so what I would do with someone like that is that take a break from it, and then get yourself cleansed out, just drinking lots of the water, like Sandra was saying, the tea, the black diamond crystals, I would get on those, because that will help pull out heavy metals and toxins out of the cell, and will infuse the cell with up to 60 micronutrients. And then just really be gentle, but really gentle, and not to focus on these symptoms of the cleansing, but focus on the fact that you're loving yourself, and you're looking in your mirror, and you're going to go, you got this. You got this.
Yeah. So good on her, because we do need to get rid of things. And like you said, when we experience these symptoms, it's your body trying to deal with stuff. So good on you. We would, we definitely do that again. Just arm your body with a few more nutrients, maybe even some juicing. Get the nutrient uptake in your body up there, and the cleansing and the good water, and then go back to that, you know? And your body would probably be a lot better able to handle it then.
And if the slight cold is the like mucus, well then the body's just cleansing. They're cleansing the fungus out of the body itself, right? And it's just about gentle, loving baby steps. And sometimes when we move into a detox program, we're programmed that we go all in, and we're just going to put ourselves flat in the bed, and that's not gentle. We're talking about gentle, loving baby steps. And that's where a lot of these nutraceuticals, or some very key components of them, can really help with offsetting some of those healing symptoms. And that's really what they are. And it's just a matter of getting into your breath work, looking in the mirror, calming yourself down, taking some lion heart breathing, 6 seconds in, hold for a few seconds, 7 seconds out, doing some belly button therapy, stimulating the vagus nerve, putting ourselves into a parasympathetic state, doing some clapping, and just really honoring ourselves. Because when we can calm ourselves down and move ourselves from fight, flight, or fright, because we are programmed that if we get a slight fever or we get a cold, that we need to run to the pharmacy and get rid of any kind of pains or aches and whatever it is, and the body is just cleansing itself. And so that is where the emotional component comes in. And so when we can do the belly button therapy for 5 to 8 minutes, we're stimulating the parasympathetic system by stimulating the vagus nerve. We're also stimulating those 60,000 nerve receptors that are all surrounding the belly button, and we're just really putting ourselves into that place, because the only true place that the body can heal is when we're in the present moment in the parasympathetic state. It's really important. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Taking the Ocean Essentials, love them. No joint pain whatsoever. Good job. Is chamomile tea good? Sure. It's going to calm you down. It's going to feel good. Just be sure to always getting your daily dose of your detoxing tea.
And Annette has a question. So yesterday my stomach was very agitated for some reason, nuts I believe. So it was so bothersome I tried the therapeutic vomiting, felt better, but I had hiccups 4 times last night. Really, they kept coming back. Any logical reason for that? What do you think, Sandra?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure. What do you think?
Well, I believe that there is something that you're trying to. Well, hiccups to me is like it's like something trapped, and I know whenever I've got hiccups, there's been some. It feels like something's trapped in there and it can't get out. I mean, I don't even think that they even have a scientific evidence, like proof, as far as what even creates hiccups. But I believe that the hiccup is that there's something that you're not speaking, Annette. That there's something that still needs to come out that is trapped. Maybe you didn't, people weren't listening to you when you were younger, or maybe you had a voice that was squelched, you were told to be quiet, or whatever the case may be, but there's something going on deep inside of you that is trying to come out and it's not able to come out. And so it's an emotional component. And I would suggest that you do the therapeutic vomiting 3 or 4 days in a row, or take a day break and then do it, but be consistent with it over a period of the time, and then it will help draw out that emotion that's stuck in there, because the emotion gets really trapped. And I believe that there's still emotion that's still trapped in there.
Interesting. So kind of the diaphragm as, trying to do something.
Yeah.
And it's been maybe frozen for a
Yeah.
while. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're a singer and you're told not to sing. Who knows? But there's something that's trapped in there. It's
Yeah.
trying to come out.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely. And go ahead, you can read Michelle's.
Michelle Roberts, I had an accident and dislocated my shoulder. It's starting to get worse and I don't want surgery. So when you had your accident, dislocated your shoulder, that would have, wrenched those muscles, would have created some scar tissue. The body would have overreacted to that injury and sent in way too much scar tissue. So it's getting worse and I don't want surgery. Yeah, good thing that Dr. Wolf's physical therapy is called non-surgical, right? Because we don't really want to go in and have surgery. When I swing my arm in a circle, it cracks and pops. What should I take to get back to normal ASAP? So calcium ionic therapy would be a great idea if you're cracking and popping. I mean, that could be the muscles trying to move and being so rigid that they're making those noises. So that's your muscles calcified themselves, and that could be a reaction from the accident, of course, as well, because of that amount of scar tissue that your body would have overreacted to would have created such a huge block that acidity would have got caught, would have really dried out those tissues. So then your body would have been forced to pull calcium from the closest bones and try to create a barrier there.
Yeah, and the popping can be, the nitrogen gets trapped in joints too as well, and popping can be just the nitrogen that's popping within the joint. And so it doesn't sound like it's really that stable right now because it was dislocated. It could also be that the shoulder is flipping over a tendon, and there's methodology associated with the Wolf non-surgical, just like Sandra was saying. I'm not sure where you're located, Michelle, whether there is somebody that's doing the non-surgical within your region. It would be really good for you to get some non-surgical, and I'm not sure how long ago it was that you actually injured yourself. The sooner the better, as long as it's kind of healed. It's not really at that tender stage, so 6 to 8 weeks after any surgery or injuries, depending on the injury itself. And it's really important to open up and to prevent, because when there's inflammation, especially in the soft tissues, which is what's happening with the dislocation, is that the body will send fibrin. So lactic acid and uric acid goes to the tissue, which is acidity, and so then the body then pulls fibrins and starts to wrap itself in those soft tissues, and then it starts to sort of contort and twist, and then the calcification goes in. And so then that's when we get knots in muscles, and that's when the tissues really start to dehydrate. They don't have oxygen, the blood flow is not that great, so that then there's not blood getting to the tissues, and they start changing to scar tissue, which is what Sandra was talking about.
Yeah.
And then when we can go in there, because when they get all contorted and twisted like this, then we go in there, because muscles and tendons should be striated. There should be lymph and blood and oxygen in all of the areas. And so when they become so contorted because they're so inflamed and fibrins and the lactic and uric acid is in there, that then there's no lymph, blood, and oxygen that's to the tissues. And so we go in there with the Wolf non-surgical and we gently open it up. And as soon as we open it up, converts itself back to healthy tissue like that. And it's so sweet.
Yeah. So Michelle, your first step is to get a perfect day consultation. So no matter where you are on the globe, we can take care of that on the phone or Zoom or somehow. And then make sure you get your diet and your water consumption in, because you don't want to be dumping even more acidity into that situation. And then make a plan to come on down here and get some Wolf Non-Surgical. Take at least the Whole Life Coach, if not take the Wolf Non-Surgical course yourself, so that you can go home and help to work on family members. Yeah, I think that sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
Big day consultation,
absolutely.
and then come on down
Yeah.
and see us in Ixtapa, Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a healing vacation.
Yeah.
Learning and healing.
Well, it's like so much
vacation.
fun down here.
Yes.
And you'll realign yourself in a heartbeat. And, in regards to some of the nutraceuticals that can really be helpful within that too as well, Michelle, is that you can get on something called the curcumin cayenne, and you can start reducing the inflammation, because the curcumin cayenne has high vibration, and it really is 93% curcumin and 7% cayenne. And so the cayenne is just in there just to help the curcumin assimilate. It's not there for cayenne purposes. And so what it does is it goes in, and so if you get on fairly high dosages of the curcumin cayenne, then you can just really bring down that inflammation, because the inflammation, when we bring down inflammation, a lot of times pain will come down. It'll help with the pain levels, and it's really important as far as when you're in a situation like that, because the body then brings so many healing fluids to the area, and it becomes inflamed, and then the tissues get blocked off, and so then you have throbbing, aching pain. There's also things like the DMSO, I was going to use it, but I might as well, the DMSO gel here, and the DMSO rose cream, and you could use that along with the Pain Away, and the Pain Away is as a very high vibrational essential oil, and so you could put something like the DMSO gel on it, which will increase the circulation, and then you could put the Pain Away on top of it. But the key is that you do this regularly, like every half an hour, because you want to keep up the vibration, and you want to bring down the pain levels in the body. So often when people are using some of these beautiful remedies, is that they put it on once a day.
Right, just not enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a really good option. The DMSO gel is such a wonderful product. It's 10 times stronger than the DMSO cream, and the DMSO gel, you just got to be aware of if there's any skin irritation after a few days, just back off a few days from using it, and then go back on using it from there. So it's really a wonderful way to go. So
Yeah.
contact us.
Yeah. So Kelly, yes, the Thora Klein is in Australia, and I am not recalling the city that she is in. But yes, Thora Klein, and I'll make a note of that, Kelly.
Mm-hmm. And Michelle, you'd mentioned something about you get jugs of water from a mountain waterfall on a regular basis. Is this structured? Yes, it is structured. It would be positively ionized. And what you can do is you can get jugs of water, and like I said, if you're running low, just keep some of it and just add it to your regular water, and it will change the frequency, and it will structure it. So good plan. It's a wonderful way to go.
The only thing I say is yet you're confident that it's coming in a structured format. We just don't always know if there's somehow just a little bit of surface runoff or something that's getting into that water. So I think it still is a good idea to still structure the water just in case.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also do the Petri dish test and see if it is a linear, whether it's running in lines or not. And you can, Emoto ended up doing that as far as testing it. So fourth phase water, you could do your own little scientific experiment too as well and see where it's at. That'd be fun.
So describe that. Put it in a dish and then freeze it? And
Yeah,
see what
you
the
freeze
pattern
it,
is?
and then you have to look at it under a microscope.
Right
So
on.
it's a Petri dish, yeah.
Right on.
So then you look under it as under a microscope, and it has the really beautiful
Okay.
Fibonacci and all the
Okay.
wonderful design, whereas the other one would kind of look more globular.
Okay, so you'd still need a microscope then,
Yeah,
you're
you
saying?
would.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
So, but you could always try it somehow.
Yeah.
Go to your children's school or somebody within the region. I'm sure you could find somebody that has a microscope. So.
Yeah, we always have more resources at hand than what we realize.
Yeah, that's right.
How often should the ultimate coffee enema be done? Well, that depends on if you're in a 5-foot hole or if you're in a 25-foot hole. People that are chronic need to be doing 1 to 2 a day. Myself, I did quite a few for a good 3-month period because I had lots of blockages. I had lots of not dealing with anything. So I tried to do quite a bit for about a 3-month period, and I'm trying to do 1 or 2 a week at this point. So.
Well, and it also depends on your energy level, Kelly. And if and most people that have the backup or the compaction, and so often we refer to it as constipation, but constipation is actually diarrhea, and compaction is what we tend to refer to as constipation. And the reason for that is that the body becomes backed up, and then it holds it collects the water from wherever it can in the body, so it brings it into the large intestine, which is in your colon, and because you're going to end up having a heart attack or could have a heart attack or a fart attack or a stroke because you're so backed up with toxins, and then the body pulls all this moisture from the kidneys and from wherever it possibly can to blow out the compaction in the large intestine, which is actually constipation. So when you have diarrhea, that's actually constipation. What we know as constipation is compaction. And so when you have those issues, then there's so much inflammation within the cells, and the mitochondria has a spin, and it produces energy for us. And when there's so much inflammation, then it's acidity, and the body has to pull calcium from the bones to buffer down the acidity at the cellular level. And those little microparticles of calcium get stuck in the mitochondria. And that mitochondria now doesn't spin at the optimum level of 2,500 revolutions per second. It's possibly only spinning 500, 600, if that. And so we don't have the energy. And so when you're doing the coffee enemas, many individuals that are so compacted because they have this leaching of infection into the pelvic bowl that they don't have the energy because their mitochondria is not spinning, producing ATP for the body. And so we really have to play that by ear. And so when we're doing the coffee enema, if you don't have much energy, you may ideally would like you to do it once a day minimum, but you'll start getting your energy back quicker if you can proceed with it. But then there's this, this bit of a push-pull scenario. And so if you could do it every second day, start getting some of your energy back. If you get on one of the ionic calcium products, and you can start moving that calcium back into the bone where it needs to be, then we can start doing it more often. And if you're really constipated, like Sandra was saying, twice a day is a good goal to get to. But then you need to take breaks.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for catching that, Sharon. Yeah, everything that we teach is to put you in the driver's seat and to teach you that you can pay attention. You do need to be watching those energy levels because we don't, sometimes, like I think you mentioned a few minutes ago, sometimes we start something and we just think we got to go hog wild, we got to be a rock star right away, and we're actually stressing ourselves out. So excellent point, Sharon. You want to monitor your energy levels. A good guesstimate would be 7 to 10 days. Take a few off. But then again, like she said, if you're doing them every day, but you're down, well, every other day, right? We got to be checking in with ourselves, and we got to be our own first practitioner.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's self-empowerment. Yeah. Because we here at the World Healing and Training Center in Ixtapa, Mexico, with Darrell Wolf's protocols and his over 40 years as a health practitioner, as a person that has been invested in this from a place of self-love and from a place of unconditional love for all. And I've experienced it over and over again, witnessed it in so many different levels, is that what we're doing is we're creating a global march of self-empowerment. A global march of self-empowerment. And that's what this is about. This is about taking back your power. So you're not going to these individuals that are calling themselves doctors, and you look on their wall and it says physicians and surgeons, but it doesn't say doctor, because doctor in Latin means to teach. And so we are doctors because we are teaching you. We're teaching you how to take back your power so that then you can have vitality of life. It's beautiful. I'm so happy to be in this place, and I'm just so happy to be sitting here and with Sandra and with all these individuals here, and to be able to speak to you on this level, because I do these perfect day consults, and so does Sandra. And we sit there with individuals and we can sense when a light switch has gone on, and they go, yeah, you know what? I can move from this suffer program, and I can move into this program of self-love and self-empowerment. And when they get it, it's like, yes, yes. And so then now it's like, okay, let's do this. You got this, you got this, you got this. And you'll slide back, and you'll move forward, and you'll slide a little bit back. But the idea is, as you're driving down this road with gentle, loving baby steps, no judgment, that you're going to go down this road and you're going to maybe veer off a little bit, maybe touch and bump the curb. But the idea is to not hit the ditch. Because when you hit the ditch, it takes a lot to get out of the ditch. So if you just bump off the curb and say, okay, I'm back here, I'm okay, I got this, I can do this, I love myself, I honor myself, I respect myself.
I think so many people just get caught in the thought of, it's hard to change my subconscious brain. Yes, it is, but get over it in a sense. Because we just need to do this loving loop drive between, I'm going to really know how to do this Braveheart Oath. I'm really going to sit in the mirror and love myself. And then I'm going to take a step out, and maybe I'm going to make a mistake. And it's okay. We don't have to go, oh, it's my subconscious. No, we just need to lovingly give ourselves a kiss and change the thought and get back into a positive mode, because we just need to go from a negative repeat to a positive repeat. And ladies, keep it simple. That's all we need to do.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you.
And Sylvia has a question here. Did you want to read it, Sandra?
Can you kindly do a healing session on high? I'm going to assume you're saying high
parathyroid.
High parathyroid.
Yeah.
Thank you, love. High calcium in the blood, as most practitioners do not have answers for someone who has this disorder. Other than removing the parathyroid glands for surgery, leave those glands in there. They will come back online. I know a lot of people with this issue. So high thyroid, high calcium in the blood. So high calcium in the blood is going to be corrected with proper water, proper nutrition, so we're not dumping in more acidity, calcium ion therapy, and high thyroid is going to be helped out with the lots of ion and iodide.
Yeah.
Infinite iodine and infinite iodide. Ours has been made stable in distilled water, so you're getting distilled water and iodide only, or distilled water and iodide only. And other products maybe get people in a little bit of trouble because of what else the iodine and is attached to.
Well, and the reality is, Sylvia, is that the invisible creates the physical. And so when we have thyroid issues, when we have the steady drip of anxiousness, like we were just talking about today, excitement is excitement if you have faith in yourself and you can actually feel that excitement. But excitement goes to anxiety and stress so quickly because we get all excited because there was a bit of an earth tremor today, and somebody came bouncing out of their hotel room and was like, "Did you feel that earthquake? Oh my gosh." And I was like, yeah, it's cool. Like we're now moving the earth here at the Ixtapa Healing Training Center. We're creating earth shakes. So hey, we must be really vibrating high. And so what happens is that the excitement then triggers the stress and the anxiety, and it triggers the adrenal glands to start dripping. And those adrenal glands, they completely freeze the pineal gland from functioning, which is our ability to connect to our infinite power, our infinite energy source. But not only does that, it completely destroys the thyroid. And those adrenal glands are sitting on top of the kidneys, and so they are affecting the function, because they're so on fire, the function of the kidneys. And so you have this domino effect. So the reality is, Sylvia, is that we've got to go back and start looking at the the emotional component of what's going on with you. And I highly suggest that you book a perfect day consult, and so we can give you the strategies on a level associated with emotional, physical, nutraceuticals, and exercise way. And so what we do have is we have the ionic calcium products, which will help pull the calcium from where it's displaced back into the bone. Not only will it do that, but it's also responsible for over 120,000 metabolic and cellular functions. That not only will do that, but that we also have the infinite iodine and the infinite iodide that is in a picomolecular structure, which is 10,000 times smaller than nano. So it will go in and actually assimilate, because that's what we want to do, is we want to assimilate these beautiful products so that the body isn't using energy to try to use them. And that's why the other iodine products out there are very toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to bash other people's products because it just puts a negative spin on it. But the truth is, when it comes to this product, it's the only one that's been made stable by itself in distilled water. So we don't have any no toxic load to this product.
That's right.
I just want to say that lesson that came from that little earthquake today, of Daryl saying you experience excitement, and unless you own that moment, it'll turn into anxiety. That has been so key for me. I've had in my past, I've had a few what would you call traumatic moments, and that really screwed up any excitement for me for a long, long time. And when I actually did hear about that the first time before I ever met Daryl, but Daryl's the one that helped to teach it in a way to just realize the simplicity of just changing the moment. But when I first realized that I was wrecking any excitement, just any excitement at all, because I was so easily flipped into anxiety, I actually kind of got mad there for a bit because I'm a fun girl, and here I was.
She is. She's actually very funny. And it's nice to see it coming out more and more.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nutty when we get hanging out on Friday night, and I'll start talking about cartoons and stuff, and they're like, Anyways, yeah. So yeah, I was really happy that Daryl had the opportunity just from a random earthquake to talk about that, because that I think is so key for a lot of people, whether it's from trauma or whether it's just from constant anxiety. We're losing the joy of life simply because we don't realize that we've got about 3 seconds to stay in that excitement, to own it and go, nope, don't have to feel fear. I can just roll with it. I can just be happy. I can just be joyful. I can just be filled with glory, and I don't have to be afraid.
Yeah, because what are you going to do? I mean, really, it's like, this thing that happened. What are you really going to be able to do other than affect your body in a positive way or a negative way?
Yeah.
I mean, I much choose the positive, because the negative, how's it worked?
Yeah.
Not well.
Has
it?
Well, no.
Not well. And then you start dripping this adrenaline, and then you create this inflammation, and then now you're pulling calcium from the bones. Yeah. So that's why there's high calcium in the blood, because the high calcium is in the blood because the blood is on fire.
Yeah.
And so the high calcium in the blood is because the body now needs to buffer down the blood from being on fire, and so it pulls calcium from the arterial walls and creates little cracks. And those little cracks, now the liver has to produce cholesterol to fill in the cracks, and then that cholesterol becomes calcified because the blood's still on fire, and that becomes hardened, and then you end up with what? What's the term? Arterial sclerosis. And so it's just an IS, which is another form of inflammation. And so now we put another label on it, so then you become that. And then now you freak out.
Yeah. And
then you put more fire into the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get a certain feeling of safety. I'm recognizing what could go wrong, and we mistakenly put a label of safety on that fear. So now we just dive into the fear even more, because we think we're keeping ourselves safe by knowing what all the bad guys are out there, or what all could happen. The one lady said, "Oh yeah, I just immediately thought the roof was going to fall in." Right? That was an immediate reaction. So we just need to recognize A, how we've been programmed, B, how simple it is to actually make a change.
Absolutely. And it's that, and like you just said, the 3 seconds. Yeah. It's like the 3 second rule. 3, 2, 1, I got this. 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I got this. I totally love and honor and respect myself. I've got this.
Interesting observation. 3 seconds. 3, 2,
3,
1.
2, 1.
You're good, Sharon.
3, 2, 1. And you've got this. Everybody can get this.
Yeah,
If you just
exactly.
move from that suffer program,
Yeah.
that program that we've been inundated with, the
Yeah.
subconscious program, and recognize when you can start observing it.
Yeah.
You know, I had a real laugh with a client of mine the other day that we were on the phone, and she was running this thing, and I said something to her, and she goes, and she just burst out laughing. She goes like, "How ridiculous is that?" I mean, she said that she took something, and then she had these little symptoms, and she stopped taking it. And I was like, so, like, wouldn't you, like, call me and figure out how you could take maybe less, and so you didn't have the little symptoms, and we could understand this? And she burst out laughing. She goes, "Yeah, what a program." I said, "Yeah." It's like, I was going to stop it. Because of what? It's doing something, and it might be helping me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a program, but it was really funny because she recognized it. And when we can start becoming observers of self, then we know that we're getting it. We know that we're now stepping out and we're actually viewing ourselves from that perspective.
Yeah.
Because it all is about perspective, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Excitement or anxiety.
Yes, and,
Yeah,
and thank
perspective.
you. I think it's pronounced Eon Sky. I really appreciate that, your comment there. And hi to you, Penny, too, as well. Beautiful to see you on. You two girls are changing the world. I love myself and I love you.
Plus, Sharon is my practitioner. I will give her a pat on the back.
I wasn't even going to read that because I thought I was
I
just
know.
like too contrived.
Yeah.
But thank you.
But
Thank
you know, and we don't. We want to toot each other's horns simply so that we can encourage you to toot each other's horns out there too. You know, we can become each other's doctors. We first and foremost our own, but the body's logical, and we need to take back our power. You know, we're here to teach you guys how to take back your power and get back in charge of your own life. So, yeah, let's
Yeah.
toot each other's horns.
Yeah.
Christy, what's best recommended for belly aches and digestion, black gold or black diamond? Thank you, ladies. And my answer is take both. Belly aches and indigestion, maybe even some digestive enzymes to help get things kick-started. Your black diamond is going to help to reestablish the good and bad bacteria. Your black gold is the part that's going to stay within the digestive tract, and so it's going to be responsible for a lot of the good and bad bacteria within the digestive system getting back online and taking care of the digestion. What were your
I would
thoughts?
suggest the best thing, Kirsty, is to get yourself a perfect day consult. And look on the doc of detox.com and review all the different consultants that are on there and really get down to where it is. And the things that Sandra has suggested, absolutely. And but what we want to do is we want to create a strategy that's specific for yourself. And so those types of nutraceuticals are really beneficial, absolutely. And you could even start taking things like the Orange Burst essential oil in your water because it helps for digestion. But what is going on for you? Have you had surgeries where you have cesarean and you've got blockages within that? How is your lifestyle? Is there issues going on emotionally? What are you eating? You know, all of these different things are so important within the whole program. And the good thing about the Perfect Day strategy is that it's a supported strategy. So we give you, first of all, money back guarantee so that you are satisfied with what's gone on with that consultation. And not only that is that it's a strategy. It's not a Band-Aid approach. It's not just like, okay, one shoe fits all. It's we look at every person individually and we give them tools so that then they can pull the tools out of the toolbox as needed. And it's not necessarily that all of these products that we're talking about you need to be on for the rest of your life, other than the daily cleansing tea and probably the black diamond crystals and of course the structured water, infinite iodine. But some of the other ones, as your health improves, as we get the intestines working properly, the large intestine in particular, then we have better absorption of our nutrients, and then we have higher nutrient quality, and we now are feeding ourselves, we're feeding our spirits, which is what it's all about. It's about our spirit, but we're feeding our spirit on so many different levels. emotionally, physically, nutritionally, through supplements, so that then we can actually feed ourselves and create a higher vibration, because then these things don't end up happening to us anymore. And so it really comes down to what it is specifically for yourself. Thank you for the question, though, Kirsty. So what else do we have on here? Does the Avicen improve heart disease, or are there benefits to the body secondary to the cardiovascular system? Well, the cardiovascular system is your arteries and your veins. And it's the Avicen is all about the microcirculation. That's your macrocirculation. It's like having the highways and byways going to your home and you don't have any side streets. The side streets is what the Avicen takes care of, which is the microcirculation, which is responsible for 76% of our circulation. And thank you for that question, Julie, because what it is that also with the clapper, I mean, the Avicen will put you into a parasympathetic state, which is a state of healing, and the more you use it, the more it will keep you there. But not only does it do that, is our hands and our feet, so it works on our hands. And so it heats up our hand by the blood in our hand by 1 to 2 degrees, and then our hands and our feet are like our radiators to the body. And so when you're heating up the blood within the hands or the feet, or you cool the blood within the hands of the feet, it's like when then it will throw that warmer blood or cooler blood through the body, depending on what you need to do, whether you need to cool the body or warm the body. And it's like when we're in bed and we get hot, we stick our foot out from under the covers and we cool down, because our feet are one of the radiators for our body. With the Avicen, we're increasing the microcirculation, so the tiny capillaries, the venules, and the blood vessels, that is what we're affecting. And so we're affecting the true health, because now we're stimulating circulation at the micro level, which is at the cellular level. So isn't the building blocks of the body at the cellular level? And so now we're building up the body from the cellular level, and that's what these nutraceuticals do. That's what our protocols are all about, is building up the body so that we're assimilating things at the cellular level, so the cell becomes healthy. Because if our cell is healthy, we're healthy, because it's the building block. And this is another way that we can increase our microcirculation, is by clapping. And it's about consistency. Same with the Avicen. You don't do it for just 1 hour once a month. You do it consistently, so you're increasing the microcirculation. So it will help with the cardiovascular system, because it's all connected. But the fact is that if there's a problem with the cardiovascular system, then there's a problem at the cellular level, and that we would need to address that, because most likely you have inflammation. Because we are an inflammation nation, aren't we, Sandra?
Yeah, so your Avicen's definitely going to help, because if you're going to improve something that's responsible for 76% of your circulation, then it's definitely going to help your cardiovascular system as well. If you were able to do the perfect day consultation and view your health as a whole unit, and make sure we're getting rid of any of that acidity in our system, stopping the blood vessels from cracking, from drying out, just like you said, stopping that needing to be gooped up, we're gonna affect the heart disease by affecting the whole body. And then you could even come down here. We have a cardio bed that is excellent, and you sit in it. It's got it fits on your legs, and it'll increase your circulation. It'll help regrow new
arterioles.
New arterioles. It'll even go around ones that can't work anymore.
Yeah.
So lots of options, but everything definitely does start with viewing your body as a whole unit.
Yeah, the EECP machine. And that EECP machine was brought from, I don't even want to say what state it was, but there was a cardiac award that it was on, and the specialist, the heart specialist, went on strike until it was removed from the ward, because
whatever.
That's how effective it is.
It's ours
just as an
now.
aside. That's okay. Yeah. We'll go on.
Yeah.
And somebody had a question. Kirsty, will black gold and diamond help with the adrenals too? Well, it will. I mean, the thing that's going to help with the adrenals is to get yourself out of the fight, flight, and fright mode, And that's the number one component of addressing the adrenal system, because until you can be in the moment, what ends up happening, Kirsty, with the adrenals is that we create these fear-based programs. It's like what happened with the earth shake today. Is that I just called it an earth shake because we were shaking up the earth and we're creating this global march, and I think the global march actually shook the earth today. So that's what my story is, but then everybody has these other stories, right?
And will your stories fire your adrenals constantly until you have a problem?
Exactly. And so you're creating this story of fear, fight, flight, or freeze, which is actually, our adrenals were created for a reason, so that then we can jump out of the way of the car.
Yeah.
Or years ago when people were like running from tigers because they were trying to eat them up, and you had 3 minutes to run up a tree and save your life, or you're gobbled up. And so after the bit of fight, flight, freeze, so you flew up the tree, and so then now you look around and the tiger's gone, and you look around and, he's onto something that's a little bit easier to get than the person up in the tree. So he's going after an easier game. And then you look around and you go, okay, it's over with. Okay, well, off we go. But when we're being chased by the paper tiger, as Daryl calls it, which doesn't actually exist because we've created it from our subconscious programming, or because of what we're watching, or the people we're hanging out with, or the conversations that we're having, and so then we're being chased by this invisible force that doesn't even exist because we made it up, and then that will drip adrenaline into the system for like 3 days before the body recovers from that. Well, then that's only if you haven't added another chase in your mind within those 3 days.
Yeah.
So then now you're at another 3 days, and so you've got the 3 days on the 3 days, and then you're at 1 million, and you've not even passed the first week.
So like Sharon said, we need to start challenging some of those belief systems, but we can also try to help our adrenals by helping our body relax. So everything from doing some regular clapping, and I sometimes have a tendency just to go into my anxiety program the moment I wake up. So I grab my clapper and I'll do my jawline, I'll do my neck, I'll even do the back of my head. Your belly button therapy.
I don't know where it went.
I remember it falling, don't worry.
It fell.
The belly button therapy
Yeah.
is another tool, so you can do both morning and night. You can switch them up. And also the Yavasana is going to help teach the body how to get back into that parasympathetic state as well. So, we do need to challenge things on an emotional level because we know that's the base root of everything. And we need to help teach the physical body about how to calm down.
Absolutely. And things like the black gold and the black diamond, the black diamond will help, pull heavy metals and toxins out of the cell and infuse the cell with, up to 60 micronutrients.
Yeah.
And the black gold will work at the intestinal level. But is it actually going to help with the adrenals? I mean, it'll help buffer down some of the toxicity that's being created by the inflammation from the anxiety, but the adrenals are still going to be dripped, and they're still going to be in the fight, flight, and fright.
Right.
So these other tools, like Sandra was mentioning,
Yeah.
very key.
But we do want to be doing everything,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
do want to be changing the emotions, helping the body to relax,
Yeah.
and then getting good components in that are going to help stop adding to that acidic level.
And the Meg infusion. I mean, the Meg infusion will help with that anxiousness, and Sandra knows it well, and so do I, because I was running an anxiety program as well, and it still will, I'll be like, okay, new sheriff in town. And so the Meg infusion will help calm that nervousness down. And so taking it like 4 times a day, and then doing a regime before bedtime of a scoop under the tongue an hour before you go to bed, and a scoop at half an hour before you go to bed. And you can hold it under the tongue because it's a powder, assimilates into the body beautifully, and it really helps calm the nervous system down. And so hold it under your tongue until it goes to a liquid, and then you swallow it. And it's really a beautiful way to help bring those levels down, that also assist with the clapping, the Avacyn, the belly button therapy, the mirror work, the Braveheart 12 Loving Steps. It's one of the master classes on the docofdetox.com. There's a coupon code Braveheart free, so you can sign up for that. Do the mirror work, go in and, the Braveheart Love Band, go in and do your gratitude work, and really work on the self-care, because many of us are just meeting each other, meeting ourselves actually for the first time when we look in the mirror.
Right.
You know, it's like, I want to run away because I've never looked like that in the mirror at myself. It's like, whoa, who is this person?
I avoided the mirror. I have a stubby nose.
Yeah.
No one's gonna love me. Stop the program.
Yeah.
Stubby nose people can fall in love too. You know,
Absolutely.
silliness. Now that I'm on the other side, to go really that concerned because I don't have a nice long nose. Oh, gosh.
It's adorable, your noses.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Inger, I was told I have a Baker's cyst below my right knee by therapist chiropractor. Can I use the clapper on this? I would definitely use the clapper around it and all around the knee. What would you suggest? You do more Wolf non-surgical than I do.
Well, the Baker's cyst, because we have lymph glands behind, we have them in the elbows and behind the knees, we have them in the groin, we of course have them in the sternum and around the breast area and in the armpits, etc. And so what that's telling us is that the lymph cells are larger than blood cells, and the lymph will move very sluggishly. And we just lost our feed here. Did we? Dad, are we still on, or did we just lose it on the camera? Okay, thank you. And so the lymph will actually, it parallels move very sluggishly, and so therefore you have sluggish lymph. So you've got infection in the lymph itself, and that is where we need to start encouraging it, which Sandra was talking about. So yes, you can clap right on that. Just be gentle with it and just do it, use your hand maybe at first and pat it more, and then you can start working around it and start encouraging it to start draining. And I would also advise that you maybe, if you can get your hands on a rebounder, and you can do some rebounding, because at the point of weightlessness is where the lymphs drain. But the underlying issue, Inga, is the fact that your lymph is backed up. And there's other issues that you can use and maybe get a perfect day consult so that we can address the what's going on with you physically.
Excellent. Good job, Sharon.
Thank you.
Debbie, is there anything we could do for receding gums being restored? First we need to remember that anything gum related is bum related.
Gum disease is bum disease.
Gum disease is bum disease.
Yeah.
So we need to be making sure that we are going to be drinking proper amounts of water so we can move things through, drinking correct foods, even some organic foods that aren't going to pass through, we don't need to be eating them either. So I'm still on a very rarely will eat a banana, and I don't even eat very many avocados just yet, because I was noticing that is having trouble going through my system just yet. So we want to be coffee enemas. We want to be making sure we have good flow down there, reduce the infection down here. It's going to help up here. But we can also do probably some physical techniques to help
stimulate. Yeah, you can clap, stimulate the stem cell, because there's more stem cells produced in the jaw than anywhere else in the body.
Okay.
So we can get the clapper out, we can start clapping.
Yep.
But we've got to address the large intestine, because that putrefaction is coming up, and you most likely would have probably bad breath, I would think, because the fact that it's coming up and it's coming into it's just all the hot air rises, so that putrefaction's creating a gas off, and that gas off is coming up into the gums, and it's inflaming the gums, and they're receding, and it goes back to the large intestine. And cleaning out the blood. And the other thing is that the liver is already responsible for over 400 functions, and when the blood has infection in it, then you're just adding on to the jobs that the liver has to do. And the liver's already overtaxed, because it's overtaxed from toxins, toxic thought, anger. Anger stored in the liver, and it spills off into the gallbladder, and therefore that we don't have the tools within our body, because our body's weakened with all of this inundation of this infection that's coming in. And that's why the daily cleansing tea would be really good to get on, and start doing coffee enemas, and start looking at things along those lines, and get onto the black diamond crystals. What you could do also is you can get into the healthy mouth, and you could start infusing the healthy mouth. You could put a few drops in a steaming bowl of water, and you can inhale that, which is one of our essential oils. And you could brush your teeth with that. You could do some gum pulling with the silver bullet gel, and you could put Healthy Mouth within that. You could put some of the black diamond crystals in that, and it could start pulling out some of the toxins that are coming up. But overall, it's all coming from the bum, which is what Sandra was saying.
The physical thing that we notice is up here, and so definitely do things to help that.
Yeah, absolutely,
The root
for
of the
sure,
problem. Yeah,
for sure.
And then Taylor, I mean, the comment above.
Runhilder?
Yes,
Runhilder.
we're maybe not going to say that name very well, but pardon us. Lynch's sclerosis, what is best to do for the skin? So a lot of the same things to do with anything skin related is related back to the large intestine.
Yeah, and what you can do is you can increase the circulation by dry brushing, by clapping. You could also, the moringa oil that we have, it's got high levels of behenic acid in it, which actually acts as a barrier for the body. But anything that's trying to come out in the skin is toxins. It's actually acidity. So if you have eczema or any skin conditions, the body is trying to remove something at a cellular level, because the body's the largest organ. And the moringa oil can help with the symptoms. It can help with symptoms like eczema, psoriasis, because it has the behenic acid in it. And it's the most coveted oil for anti-aging, but it also has such healing and repairing and cleansing properties to it. So you could use something like the moringa essential oil that we have, and we have such high vibrational oils. And you could use that, you could dry brush. But the bottom line is that I would suggest that you get a perfect day consult, and we look at what the fundamental issues are that are at a cellular level. It's really important.
Yeah.
To get to the root cause.
So just think about how backed you are up if the body's only chance is to try to push it through the skin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Taylor, I have trouble with synthetic scents. Does the DMSO gel non-scented?
Yeah.
I think so. It's non-scented. Yeah.
It's just in its
the
natural
gel
state.
is the more intense option.
Yeah.
So definitely do put it on, but put it on sparingly, and don't put it on and rub it in. But yeah.
Yeah, the DMSO gel, because it is so powerful, and it's such an amazing product that it can create skin irritation after repetitive use, and then you just need to give yourself a break.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a scent. It's DMSO, but it has a DMSO smell. But it doesn't have a synthetic scent.
Not an added.
Yeah, that's
item.
right. Exactly.
That's right. What is your opinion on colloidal silver? Well, that's nature's antibiotic, and so we love using colloidal silver everywhere. We like using it as a spray. I specifically have it on hand when I'm doing my coffee enema, the gel and the spray, so that when I'm in between my procedure, I'm making sure that everything's nice and clean as we go through the procedure. You can drink it to help to deal with fungus, the liquid. You can, and then within the any sort of topical applications, definitely the gel, and within the vaginal infusion, which we've loved talking about these last few weeks.
Yeah, the gel itself. And the colloidal silver, you can mix it with the nanofulvic bright eye drops, and you can nebulize it for the eyes so that you can start pulling out some of the toxins and start cleansing the cells of the eyes itself, because our eyes are so inundated from the blue light poisoning and from the toxic. I mean, they're an open source into the world that we live in, and that is also pulling in toxins into the system itself and into the cells of the eyes. So we can nebulize it into our lungs with the nanofulvic bright eyes, which pulls toxins and heavy metals out of the cell and infuses the cell with micronutrients, and then it will also cleanse and get rid of any bacteria or any infection within the region. So ours is a structured colloidal silver, and it's very powerful. And like Sandra said, we can use it at various levels. We can drink it, and we can use it topically along with the gel.
Eyes, ears,
vaginal,
skin.
Absolutely.
Have lots, and we're looking at getting it in a larger size as well, because of our experience with it, using it vaginally. We need a little bit more of it on. I also use it in my hand sanitizer. So I think I was using 1/4 of the bottle of the 8 ounce and about 40 drops of the immunity.
Oh,
And
nice.
that was my own,
Nice.
my own hand
Good idea.
sanitizer. If someone wanted me to be using their antibacterial, I just whipped out my own, went, not a problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy.
Michelle, so yeah, you're in Kentucky. And pardon me, Dean Saleo is in Buford, Georgia, 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. So pardon me, I'm not terribly sure if that's close to Kentucky, but yeah, that's where he is, and we are here. We're ready to help
And you can always also call in and let us know where you're at, and then we can, but Sandra's made a note of it, and we'll get back to you in regards to that. Something else to mention when we're talking about the Avicen is right now that it's on sale for like $1,000 off. Yeah, it's a very good price, and it's something that I would highly recommend for anybody that wants to start really moving their health forward. I mean, these energy light medicine equipment that we have and now that we have for home use is absolutely phenomenal. So the Avicen right now is on sale for $27.90, I believe it is, and it's regular like $1,000 more. So it's a great time to pick it up. It really is. And the essential oils are. All the essential oils are what, 20% off now? Yeah, the whole line of our essential oils, we have an essential oil sale. And it's good to pick these up because, I mean, when you're talking about the various essential oils, like the super cinnamon not only does it like warm you up and really have you feel wonderful when you drink it, but it will level out the blood sugars within the body. And it will actually help people with type 2 diabetes. And this is such an amazing essential oil, and so it just tastes so wonderful. And you only need a drop or two.
Yeah.
Such high vibration with the
Do
super
make sure
cinnamon.
you don't, if you're putting it into a container, don't get it on the edge. I was a shift worker for a while, and so if I was a little bit sloppy and got it on the edge of my container, I had to be sure to give it a good swish around because it's very concentrated, right? These are.
Yes,
So
they are.
you don't have to be, like she said, plugging the whole thing in there. Make sure to swish around your edge so that you don't kind of get your breath taken away from you.
Yeah, it will actually help reduce blood pressure.
Yeah.
The super cinnamon.
Right.
And when you're using it, it'll get some super cinnamon on the outside of the body. And so whatever you do, don't like rub your face because then you'll be like have super cinnamon. Like it kind of feels like it kind of burns, but it's just really powerful.
So
Yeah.
have some colloidal silver on hand. Or
Yeah,
C60,
exactly.
because
Yeah.
you don't want to put water
Yeah.
on oil and then spread it around.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
if we do have a little
Yeah.
whoopsie, we have some gel or we have some other oils on to absorb it and get rid of it.
And it will actually help like ease the mind,
Yeah.
build up your moods. It will actually increase your libido. Hello.
Yeah.
Because it helps increase circulation, so then that's a circulatory thing, is the libido. And then it will also help fight parasites. And it's really a phenomenal oil. So that's one of the ones that we could, recommend to you if you wanted. If you have that sweet tooth that you just really want to. And I'll tell you, it really works.
Yeah.
Because I tend to have that path to the sweet tooth. I think many of us do, but I do.
Yeah, we haven't learned to be kind and sweet on ourselves, so we're taking the sweetness in. So this will help us stop doing that. And 20% off, a good time to get the 100 ml size when it's 20% off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it is, of course, the most economical to buy the largest size you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Julie, will the cleansing tea, along with diet, heal leaky gut, aka leaky large intestine? And which nutraceuticals help with healing the large intestine? So yeah, the tea, exactly, along with the diet. Your humic, coffee edibas, that's right. But the humic within the black gold itself, that's going to go in and attach to the lining of the large intestine and help to bring it back those tight junctions again, and then help ward against any negative pathogens that are coming through, because it's going to prophylactically coat anything that shouldn't be there, and then they can't attach when they're coated. So yeah.
Well, and the reason that we call it the ultimate coffee enema is because if we just do a regular water enema, when we have the leaky gut, as the Western world calls it, but it's actually technically leaky large intestine, is that when the liver gets stimulated to start dumping its toxins because of the enema that we're doing, and not only are we trying to pull away that welded on fecal matter, the compost pile that's been created within the large intestine, is that we're now pulling away very toxic material, and we don't want that to go back into the bloodstream through the leaky large intestine. And so the ultimate coffee enema, like Sandra was saying, with the you can do either with the black diamond crystals, or you can do with the tummy love and the black gold, will help piggyback those toxins out of the colon rather than sending it back into the bloodstream, because now you've stirred up the compost pile, and you want that compost pile to take a hike. And
exactly.
and encourage the proliferation of the friendly bacteria. Yeah.
So the coffee and the black gold in the first step, boil for 5, simmer for 15, strain, and then throw in either your black diamond or your tummy love. And your black diamond is kind of the Ferrari version of tummy love. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's some of it. But Julie, I would highly recommend that you get a Perfect Day consult, because there's more to it than just the cleansing tea. I mean, it'll start gently cleansing the bloodstream, gently cleansing the tissues and the organs of toxins, because that's why it's called a gently cleansing tea. However, in order to truly be able to address the large intestine when you have leaky gut, is that we got to get it cleaned up, and we have to get the proliferation of the friendly bacteria and the unfriendly bacteria out of there. Thank you for the question.
Colette, what kind of water do you use with the coffee enema? Well water, or better to use distilled? I wouldn't use distilled myself. I mean, go ahead and do it if you want. We don't find distilled water in nature, so let's stick with nature. And then well water, and then I would structure it. And then after you've strained it and put the black diamond or the tummy love in, we can also then restructure that whole warm water mixture as well.
Yeah, it would be good to use the structure, because I mean we're then being able to infuse the cells, and we can clean them up better, because whatever we put in that structure, like when we have black diamond or the tummy love, it's now going into the cell and it's pulling the toxins out of the cell. So thyroid is low, parathyroid is high.
That's from a previous comment. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, the same components are going to help to bring about that proper balance. All the base steps of detoxing tea, getting those good nutrients in with the humic and fulvic and the infinite iodine is going to help bring everything back into balance.
And Michelle, I look forward to the Petri dish. So please let us know how you come out with the mountain water, and whether it is actually 4th phase water or not. And also mention that you're looking forward to getting certified through us.
Right
Come
on.
down. Yes, we're running a course starting on April the 30th. That's the Whole Life Coach course, and then that runs for about 9 days. And then there's a couple of day break, and then we're going to be running the Wolf Non-Surgical certification. And there's going to be 3 courses that are running back to back. And that's how Daryl's going to be running those, because we want to be able to give people the opportunity, which there are, coming down here for 3 months and getting their master's certification, which is absolutely phenomenal. And not only, you don't have to come down and do the 3 courses. You can go do the 1 course and you can go back completely certified. But what it does is it just further instills also your healing journey, as well as the healing journey that you can actually pull people onto as well. So come down and be part of our Braveheart community. And if you want to look for any information in regards to the upcoming courses, you can go to braveheartnation.com. And you can find out all the information about accommodation and about the upcoming courses and the certification. And it really is a fun place. And we've got a great community here. We've got the Jungle Juice Bar. We have all kinds of wonderful restaurants within the community that have really supported us in regards to our vegetarian lifestyles and our really beautiful food and beautiful people. It's such a wonderful community.
Yeah, Michelle, I just want to add into what Sharon's saying. We can't teach what we're not, right? And so to come down and to make that investment into yourself for 3 months simply means that you're going to be able to teach in a so much more powerful fashion when you get home. So we do encourage you guys to come and be committed for that 3 month period of time if you can do it, because it's just going to rocket ship your life. It's going to rocket ship the power of your teaching. So we definitely would love to have you come down and hang with us. Carol, with the Avicen, how many hours apart do I go on it again? Really won't matter, love, because it's only going to bring about good things. Several sessions of at least 20 minutes during the day does sort of bring a magical thing into something about the body regulating to the way the Avicen's going to do things, because it does create a little a blood pressure cuff on your arm, and then when you go off of it, the body excuse me, goes back to the way it was handling your blood pressure then. So it's something magical that happens when we do the Avicen several times a day. So really no limit. Do it as often as you need.
Yeah, and an ideal sort of regime is in the morning and at night. And the person that produced it, can't think of his name offhand, but
Tom Muehlbauer.
Tom, yes, thank you, Sandra. And he says, which doesn't really matter, but he said left on the light and right at night, and so he recommends that you do it at least twice a day, but you certainly, like Sandra said, you can do it as often as you possibly like, and there's not too much of anything.
No. They're
in regards
continuing
to
do more research and things like that.
Yeah.
Because something magical is happening when we do break it up and do it several times a day. Okay.
And Kirsty, about the child a year ago and the adrenal issues, yes, and so sign up for the Braveheart Emotional Intelligence, because that's what this is all about, is emotional intelligence. That's why the 3 seconds is we're creating emotional intelligence that we can now, in the event of such chaos, if chaos was going all around us, that we could be at a place of peace and we could just be going like, okay, eventually this will settle down and maybe not, but I don't have to have it affect me.
And actually, now that I'm back in my thinking mind, it's not going to kill me.
Exactly.
How many times Daryl has said, how many times has your life really been on the line?
Yeah,
You're about to lose your life. Not that often. I remember being in a boat the day I got married and we went out to do some whale watching. Woo! I thought my life was on the line. I'm from the prairie. I didn't know, I had no idea what rough seas would look like. I was screaming F-bombs and Jesus all in the same sentence because I thought my life was on the line. It was just rough seas. My life wasn't on the line. I just thought it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Exactly. And look at what it does to your body.
Woo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so Julie's asking a question, or making a mention about the infinite iodine. So, will the infinite iodine protocol, 1.5 ounces a day, heal a systemic dental infection from a dental extraction that was not properly cleaned and dead ligaments tissue was left behind? Currently taking 30 to 40 sprays a day and it helps, but the infection persists. Well, we'd have to look at your overall health and as far as what's going on with your large intestine as to why, maybe why this is a persistent issue. But I would certainly get on clapping. I would certainly get on the healthy mouth and the immunity and have that in your silver bullet gel and be pulling that through your teeth along with the black diamond crystals. And
drinking some of the silver bullet spray.
Yeah, drinking some of the silver bullet.
Can you throw too much at this? To get a good understanding of what your whole picture is going to be important here, Julie. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, you could take the 1.5 ounces of infinite iodine a day. The whole picture is even more important because where's the underlying cause? Yeah. Because the teeth, they're all about meridians. Every single one of our teeth has a meridian to the body, and that's where our thermography, which is the most powerful diagnostic piece of equipment I think on the planet, is the thermography. Yeah. And there's all about the meridians of the teeth and how the teeth are all very huge components in the thermography testing itself.
So problems that show up in these meridians can either be a problem starting here and then affecting whatever's related region, or the related region is then showing up here because of the meridian. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, and Donna, I will be available to do a consult at the end of June. So please contact me on the Sharon at docofdetox.com if you wanted to just contact me directly, and then I can just send you the link of where you had actually booked that. So there's no problem with that, Donna. Thank you. Appreciate that. And it can see helpful for soft stools. Well, soft stools are
Going to help you move.
Christy, Black Gold and Black Diamond has been helping my digestion lots. Tummy Love is amazing too. Thank you so much for the feedback. Do you have products there? Sherry, there. Do you have products there? Is it extra for shipping to Mexico? We advise people to bring your products down here. It does take a period of time, and there is, I mean, it's actually not too bad. We have it as far as the amount of cost, as far as shipping it, but it can take a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
3 weeks to a month. So what we recommend is that people bring their products with them because we don't have a shop. The Mexican government charges us, like a 30% surcharge?
Yeah.
And so then it becomes that much more costly for an individual to actually order the products down here and have them brought down.
Yeah.
So we do have a bit of a channel available, but it's not, it's not like ordering online at home and it showing up at your doorstep within a week or a few days.
Yeah. Yeah, so just bring an extra suitcase or something, and you're bringing everything in for personal use anyways. And so, coming through the border, they don't have any problem with you bringing in what you need yourself. So that's the best bet, is to just take care of it yourself, and then you're here with no worries. And yeah.
Yeah, and Cher has asked a question about all her teeth have crowns and most root canals. Well, there's a good video called The Root of All Disease. And every one of those root canals is a pathway to infection, and every one of those meridians is associated with an area of your body, and especially for a woman, it's directly related to the health of the breast. And so that infection and inflammation can be a direct path into the breast tissues. And so it would be, there's only one way to address a root canal, and that, from what I understand, is to pull it out.
Yeah.
And
we do have great dentists down here that can do things in a very careful and safe manner. But yeah, that's definitely consider what you can do there.
And Dawn was asking about the specific kind of magnesium and how much do you take each day. I'd mentioned it earlier. You probably just came on a little bit later. So it's Mag Infusion.
And it's specifically, I do believe it's a magnesium malnate, which is very easy for your body to break down.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you just put it underneath your tongue. You take it 4 times a day. If you have sleeping issues, you would take it an hour before you go to bed and 30 minutes before. So an hour, and then again 30 minutes before. You put it under your tongue. There's a little scooper that's a dosage, and you just put it under your tongue, hold it there until it goes to a liquid, and then you just swallow it.
I threw that scooper out. Just let you know, it's teeny weeny whiny. I went Rockstar on the Magni Fusion. That's the only thing. You didn't do Rockstar. I do almost a teaspoon now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you bumped her right up.
Oh, exactly, girl. Calming her down.
And Denise, listening from New Brunswick, Canada, ordering everything and can't wait to arrive in Ixtapa by the end of June. Yes, sirree, Denise. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you. Can you talk about irritable bowel syndrome? It's inflammation within the intestinal, it's within the bowels, which is the large intestine, and so you have inflammation, and so what's happening is that it's just irritated, and so it all comes down to the health of the large intestine and cleaning that all up. I love the silver. So how does it affect a person with false teeth? I'm not sure what Connie's talking about.
But just hang on a sec, love. Denise would be sure you've got your perfect day consultation done ahead of time. So that you can start to reduce that inflammation load before you get here. Be sure to have that step done.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to let you know that we have a bone density testing machine here. And so with that perfect day consult, that they would get a free bone density scan. Which the Western world uses that to diagnose cancer, because they know that if your bones are really lost a lot of calcium, that you have such high levels of inflammation, which is inflammation gone wild. And so this gives us a really good benchmark as far as how much inflammation is in the body and where you need to go with that. Yeah. And it's a beautiful machine. It takes, 5 minutes to do it? I haven't done it yet.
Not long.
Yeah.
Oh, good job, Denise. I already have a consultation on the 22nd.
Excellent.
Will they tell me what I need in product? Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you've already got the booking made for the 22nd, then be sure to go back to your emails. The same email that you would have clicked to fill in your form, there would have been a link there for you to download your perfect day document. and encouraging you to read the A to Z Wellness, and encouraging you to read the self-loving steps. So be sure to have all that done so that you're prepped and ready to go. And yeah, it's easiest to teach when you're the willing partner.
And Michelle, you'll be an amazing practitioner, so come on down and get certified and move back to your Kentucky area and open up a practice, and you'll never look back. It's one of the best decisions that many of us have made,
Yeah.
as far as taking that leap.
Absolutely.
And it's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to go, and that is how if we can touch 1 million people in our lives,
Yeah.
well, then we become a millionaire.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. And it's about the children, and it's really wonderful to see that.
Yeah.
And Connie was talking about the meridian pathways relating to having no teeth. The thing is that the thermography machine, I mean, when we remove parts of the body, there's still the nerve.
Yeah,
The
they're
body's
still there.
They're still there. So it reads it like it's still there. So I've lost my appendix, but it will still read because they didn't remove the nerve of my appendix. And they're not removing the nerve
So
of
we're
all the
not
teeth.
measuring the teeth. We're in the thermography. We're measuring the surface temperature as a warm body and then a cool body. And statistically, they know the difference of that regulation that the body's able to do of how well those individual areas and individual organs are functioning.
And you're welcome, Ron Hilder. And I think that we're going to wrap this up
Sure.
because we're just we're just around the 2-hour mark
Yeah,
here.
I was beginning to think.
And we so thank everybody for all their questions and for their support of us while we fill in for Daryl, and it's so fun. And unless you're willing to erase and replace the beliefs we have, you otherwise cannot change your personality. So you will never have a new reality without emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually changing your reality. It's about creating heaven in every present moment, because the present moment is the gift. The gift is the present. And when we're in the present moment, that is when we can truly heal. And that is when we can actually uncover our authentic self. And it really is our inner child. And I so look forward as I pull these veils away, and I haven't uncovered her yet. I mean, she's still trying to come out and play. But it's so fun when she does.
You're an inspiration, love, because you've done some good work. And you're right, our work's not going to end. But it's an inspiration just to sit beside you, Sharon. 'Cause I know you've done the work.
Thank you, Sandra.
We light the way for each other. I'm going to get a little emotional
Yeah.
here. But
Thank you,
that's
Sandra.
okay, right?
And it is so my pleasure. And I knew that this was the place that I would end up being someday, because the journey and just having these experiences, and they've been profound. And it's just so lovely to hear that, because this is where we need to be, and this is how we support each other. And I'm so happy to be that person for you.
She's lighting the path for me, and maybe I'll light the path for her in another 6 months or something.
You know
Who
what?
knows?
You light the path every time you smile for me, and every time you add your feedback, because we all have our skill set. And Sandra is so thorough, and she's so, it's like this, and I'm just like, sometimes I'm kind of like, whatever. And then it's like, okay, she'll ground me. Yeah, she grounds me, and I so appreciate that.
You're good.
Yeah.
You catch yourself in that anxiety so much better now.
Yeah.
You only do this just a little teeny bit, and you're so incredible. You're
thank you,
incredible,
Sandra.
love. Yeah.
And we love you all. And do we want to, so there's upcoming Docs of Detox shows. We have the women's show on Thursday, and we're going to be calling it, so it's Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Time. And this week's show is Brave Art Women, Hear Us Roar. That's what we want to do, is we want to roar, because we want to fulfill our femininity. We want to vibrate at that level where we can connect to Mother Earth, and we can actually vibrate and have our channels all open so that we can get back to that place of divine femininity, because that's the power. That's the power of this planet, is the women being connected to Mother Nature, which is the magnetism of Earth. And so when we can embrace our femininity, then we can embrace our empowering, our soul and our spirit and our divinity. I love roaring as a feminine. And I didn't for many years, but I love roaring. And so join us on Thursday at 2 p.m. What else do we have going on? The Whole Life Coach certification is starting on April the 30th. Come and rock your world, change your world. Daryl will rattle your coconut, and it's really beautiful to see the changes in individuals as they move forward and they open themselves up to the possibilities of divinity, the possibilities of vibrating and removing these blockages, emotional, physically.
I'm not sure if there's dates yet for Robin's metaphysical course, but that's coming up in the beginning of May.
That's right. It'll be shortly after the Wolf Non-Surgical.
Okay.
So I believe it's like around the 22nd
Oh,
or
okay.
23rd.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually been established as far as, but
No,
but it is.
but
But
it is.
I did talk to her. Yeah, the metaphysical. Yes. And then we have via Zoom, the pelvic floor restoration course that Nadia and Irina, who have traveled to Russia to learn about encouraging the throughout the vaginal canal, all the tissues to get the ligaments and the muscles and the tendons and everything strengthened, toned, and full of vibrancy. And so that pelvic floor restoration can help so many individuals with prolapse issues, with 49% of women over the age of 50 drip urine, so it can help with the urine, with incontinence, and it's all about strengthening all of those tissues within that vaginal canal area. And that's a Zoom course that's running on May 6th, 7th, and 8th, and you can go onto the dock of Detox and go under shop and search the pelvic, and then that'll come up, and you can certainly sign up for that. And then there's more courses, New World Practitioner certification courses starting. There'll be another one starting in May, and you can go on to the braveheartnation.com and find out all those course dates. There'll be another one that'll be starting in June, and so we'll be running 3 back to back. And you can come down here and be part of our beautiful Ixtapa World Healing Training Center. We'd love to have you. So should we end with the Braveheart Oath, or what do you think?
Sure. Do you want to scroll her down?
Scroll her down? Okay, I can scroll her down. And I really do thank everybody for joining us today and for all of your input and all of your questions and joining us. I mean, it takes time to invest in self, and this is about self-empowerment. And this is about taking back your ability to heal. And it's all about self-care. It's all about, here we go, the metaphysical course. Metaphysics 101, Bridging Invisible to the Physical, May 26th to the 28th. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Whole Life Coach starts on May the 29th, and the Wolf Non-Surgical again on June the 9th. And we have weekly newsletters. We can be found on Telegram. We can be found on Bitchute. We can come and book a perfect day consults. All of our shows are, and here we are, the Braveheart Coach. And Sandra, you can take this away.
Sure.
Have a beautiful day.
All right, everybody out there, join in with me. I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself, first and foremost, before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can, I am healed, I am Braveheart. Take care, ladies, and everybody out there.
3, 2, 1. You got this. Until next time, thank you so much and have a beautiful day.
You know, it's not good enough to have the most powerful courses, treatments, and training. We want to deliver to you the adventure of a lifetime that's going to last a lifetime. And I'm going to take you on a little adventure right now and show you what we are going to deliver. What are we going to deliver? We are going to deliver the authentic you, the real you, the genius inside. How would you like to become not just the master of your mind, but the master of your body, the master of your life? You know what? The most important world is your world, and we're about to show you how to create it.
Found Dr. Wolf and all his positivity and trying to reshape our way of thinking and help me be a better person, a better mom, better wife. I'm glad I found him in person in Ixtapa, Mexico.
Never limit yourself to beautiful, because that's what you are. Take a look at this beautiful place. We all deserve beauty in our life. You need to create a new program that is unlimited when it comes to things that are beautiful, things that make you happy, things that make you shine, things that make you feel excited. Let's get excited.
This guy's got something really interesting to say and he's sharing it really openly and just really not caring what other people think, and I just thought that was really empowering.
What I've learned in my life is this: to be the change you wish to be the change you wish to see, Braveheart, you have to understand you take life one step at a time.
Dr. Wolf, as many people will have seen, is very direct and straight and will take you to the edge of the cliff, as he says, and then pull you back just in time.
Never lose your focus. Never lose your dream, because you are the dream maker. It's called image, but guess what? It's your imagination. The image that you hold creates the thought that you live with. That thought creates an emotion that creates a frequency, and we know that the invisible creates the physical. I mean, that's quite obvious. So be the power that you seek, and understand something, that all your thoughts matter. And guess what? Unless you're willing to take a look at those thoughts and retrain your brain, change your personality, you'll never change your reality, and your reality could become infinite.
He's a wealth of information, and I love it.
You were created by your creator to create. So let's create something amazing together.
I found Dr. Wolf and I went, wow, here's a truth speaker. And he spoke to my soul and he spoke truth.
So tell me what you think of the destination that I came up with my imagination to hold the whole life coach certification for you. Understand something. It's all about beauty. It's all about adventure. It's all about stimulating the mind, okay? And understanding that your mind is unlimited. And that is what the whole life coach certification is all about. In the whole life coach certification, we are going to go deeper. We have people coming to us, professionals coming to us, from doctors to nurses to accountants to oil riggers to mothers that want to expand their life. And when they come here, they go, I need to learn to help my family, or I want to improve my business. But guess what? We get into their business. When they leave, they become the change that they wish to see, that they wish to be. They become the gift to the world, because when you can stay in the present, and you can't do that until you have unconditional love and care for yourself. And I'll tell you something right now. I have hardly even found 1 out of 1,000 practitioners, or even so-called whole life coaches, that can hold the present moment and own it and then give it as a gift. And this is what I'm going to give to you. And when you come here, this is where you're going to come into this room when you need to find alignment, you need to find balance, and you need to get back into your lion heart breath, because we're going to go deep into your heart and we're going to become the spark that you seek.
And actually what I really love about Dr. Wolf's teachings is that unconditional love is literally it. And then you're like, how can it be that easy? That's just silly. So, but it's really not.
Come play, Come stay, come train with us today. Understand something. I know we have fear, but understand, that's just false evidence appearing real. I get it. Stick your toe in, feel the water, but then I want you to dive right in because
How I found my brave heart was through Daryl. He really teaches you to go within and go in through your heart and not your mind, because your heart's a lot more connected to so much more than your mind. Your mind is just so conditioned and your heart is just so open and beautiful.
you're the answer that you've been looking for. Let me teach you how to fly. What does that mean? First, love yourself, Braveheart. Let's take life in and win.
I had just lost my husband a couple of years ago. With his passing, he gave me the greatest gift to love myself. But Dr. Wolf gave me the greatest gift in understanding that.
I had a dream 3 years ago that I would live in Mexico and I would have this training center, this teaching center, this treatment center that would touch the world. Your dreams are never too big. And when they start to create a little bit of anxiety, turn them into excitement. And get excited because this is your life.
He's the first doctor that I have encountered that has truly given me the truth, and not just half truths, but the full truth. So it's been revolutionary for me in my healing process.
And this, my friend, when you take on the dream of all dreams and you realize that if you stay connected to your breath, that you can have it all. Do not let anybody take your breath away. Do not let anybody steal your dream, okay? Listen, God gave you imagination. This is your sandbox of life. Take your life back. Right now, we are teaching courses to people that have come from all over the world, and the government is saying you can't travel, you can't breathe, you can't have this, you can't come together. Yes, we will. And we will do it with unconditional love for each other. And we will learn to grow. We will not judge each other. We'll observe and see where we can support each other. But at the same time, we will hold the Braveheart line, because this is the only way that we can grow. So find your roar, because you're so much more. And learn this. You are the unconditional love that you've been looking for. You are the dream maker. I can't wait to see you. We want to become that small piece of the puzzle that brings your dream together. Thank you. Let me ask you a question. What do you think it would take to turn your life around? I can tell you right now, I learned that a long time ago, what the key was. And anybody that has been able to perfect the perfect day on an emotional, physical, and spirit level knows this. The answer is massive, personal action. That's what it's going to take for you to turn your life around. And to turn your life around, you're going to have to go within if you want to change without. And that's the bottom line. And you know, people think that they can do it like with a consultation, or maybe they can do it with a telephone call or a Band-Aid or a 911 emergency, a treatment. But understand, that's not the way it is. The day that you realize that when you master your mind is the only time you're going to master your body. Forget your life. That's always going to be just random luck until you know that you must become the master of your day. From the moment you rise until you gently close your eyes, you must be the only authority for you. And if you think that getting an hour consultation is going to do it, it's not. If you think that going for therapy is going to do it, it's not. You have to submerge yourself into what we would call the personal treatment and training. And you need to do that from anywhere from 6 days to 10 days, or you need to come for my whole life coach certification, because if you don't go in deep, you'll never make changes. They say it takes 10,000 times for you to repeat something before it becomes a prominent, dominant thought. And if you understood that 70 to 90% of all your thoughts are not yours, and they say that 70% of your thoughts are toxic, tell me they're not. Take a look at the majority of the population. 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease, which means the body is attacking itself. Before that, though, the person was attacking themselves on a subconscious, unconscious level. And that, my friend, is the bottom line, and why you must take a personal treatment and training and go deep and understand how to run your life. What that means is learning how to think, how to drink, how to eat, and knowing when somebody is mistreating you, when someone is disrespecting you, because until you honor and respect yourself, no one else is going to do it. So understand, this is your life. If you want to live your passion and purpose, then you must become the master of your mind to become the master of your body so that you can become the light for your family. So please, consider this. You've got the time and you've got the money, because you're going to change the rest of your life for the rest of your life, and that's my guarantee to you.